שלום. איזה כיף שבאתם, תודה שבאתם. תודה שבאתם.
אפשר חיבוק?
בטח, אני בטח שאני לא שאלתי. Hey Lucy.
Hello.
Hi. Thank you so much for being with us here.
Thank you for having me.
How was your flight?
It was wonderful.
How was it to be on flight when you know you're about to meet your brother after so many days?
I was just smiling and smiling. Just had the biggest smile across my face. Except when I was sleeping. Had to tell the flight attendants, had to tell the people when we were going through security, just everybody, why I'm going to Israel. And then everybody in response gave me such big hugs, and they all knew Keith Siegel.
כמה זמן בעצם? לא ראיתם אחד את השני, כל ארבעת האחים?
כית' לא היה בארצות הברית יותר משנה לפני 7 לאוקטובר.
What was the point you understood that kid is coming home and it's real?
For me, it was Saturday when he walked through the doors of Ichilov and I could hug him. His name was on the list on Friday. Started to allow myself and probably all of us to start to breathe, but there were so many ups and downs. Roller coaster. Up, down. It's happening even for Keith. He could hear now and again, "You're going home." But then nothing happened.
484 יום, קית' חיכה לרגע בו התאחד עם אחיו. גם הם בארץ ובעולם דמיינו את המפגש בכל אחד מהימים שחלפו. האח הרביעי מגיע היום מארצות הברית, ובכך האיחוד המרגש יושלם. שאלתי את לוסי ולי, מה עולה בראשם כשהם מדמיינים את זה קורה?
I think they'll be crying. We probably will be crying more than Keith, I have to say. He's really, really strong. And my first hug with him, he knew he was back in Israel. It was difficult for me. I was in shock.
I almost couldn't believe that he and I were embracing. I just had to keep hugging him because I couldn't believe that it was real.
There are no words, you know, there weren't words for 484 days. We lost our vocabulary. The entire country of Israel lost a vocabulary. There was no good morning, boker tov. There was no good evening, good night, laila tov, because nothing was good. We are coming back in small steps to a vocabulary that we had prior to October 7th, but it will be a journey.
לנו בישראל היה קשה להישאר אופטימיים, אבל קית' מסתבר שמר על אופטימיות, והיא שמרה עליו.
Keith loves music. So a week ago, one of Keith's favorite bands, which he and I saw together, called Hot Tuna, Keith was so excited. And he said, "Do you remember when we went and saw them?" We were eating and he said, you know, is Norma still in the band? Do you remember when we saw him? And the smile on his face and just being able to just talk.
I can share that, and I mentioned it before, that Keith and Aviva, when they were together, every day Keith would repeat what day it is and what we have to be thankful for. And when Aviva was separated from Keith, Keith continued, whether he was alone or with others, every single day, what day it is, who am I with, what have we done, thank you for the food, you know, pita, a little bit of hummus and ful, fava beans, but thankful for receiving that. And he is very, very sharp. His memory is very, very strong for the 484 days. And yes, for hot tuna or for whatever we might have done growing up together.
Many of his friends and Aviva's friends were murdered as well, I guess, in Kfar Aza, unfortunately. He asked about people?
I have not spoken to him about that. It's at his pace. when he decides he would like to have more information, information will be provided. Mm-hmm. He would say to us, when he started to realize just what was going on in Israel for 484 days, I'm really sorry that you had to go through that. He's telling us that he's sorry that we needed to go through that. His last 2 months, he was by himself. He talked to us, obviously not in his mind when he could have his eyes open and when he could whisper to himself. So that's what he did. When he wasn't allowed to speak, which was for a lot of the time.
He wasn't allowed to speak. Wow.
He would say that to himself. He would talk with Aviva. He would talk with the children. He would talk with nephews, nieces. He would talk with us, with cousins. That's how he kept himself grounded.
בתקופת השבי, מספרים האחים, קית' קיווה לחזור ולמצוא את אמו בחיים. אבל כבר על המסוק, אביבה נאלצה לספר לו בתשובה לשאלתו שאמו נפטרה לפני כחודשיים.
My job, living in the same town as my mother, was to make sure that I did everything within my power for her to not know that Keith was a hostage. Thought about it every morning. I thought about it all day. Thought about it before I went to bed. Our mother cannot know. Keith also, the youngest of four, mother's baby.
65 years old, he's a baby.
It will always be a baby. How did you survive that period of time?
I remained optimistic that Keith was going to get home. I never allowed myself to have any other thought. And I used my voice for every opportunity that was presented to me. And I just kept pushing because I knew Keith was going to get back home safely.
Now when Keith is back, you're still fighting for others and you're out there. It's really important to you to keep going.
Keith's already asked what can he do to help bring the 79 hostages home. So he needs some time to get back physically. But if he could be at Hostage Square today, that's what he would want to do. It should be Israel's message. It should be humanity's message out there, loud and clear, that this can't continue. Every day is one too many days. It needs to stop. Everyone needs to be home. The war needs to be stopped.
Yes.